be the guy there, the even-headed, level-headed guy, like pushing back on me on this episode. Okay.
You want me to be the level-headed one when I have to do all this with you too?
Yeah, I want you to do all this stuff.
Right.
Okay.
I like the challenge. That sounds good.
This is how you get bonuses. Right here. This kind of work right here. So much has been placed. There's great responsibility here. Okay. And there's great. You've had this power, but there's great responsibility placed on your shoulders. So anyhow, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff and some breaking news here in Minnesota. Reading your comments live is Mr. Wingmaster himself, Paul Tucci.
Oh yeah, here I am. Dazzle dazzles. Afternoon, my liberty fighting friends. Where's the crew taking showtime for show prep?
Actually, here's the deal. Jesse's got COVID. Just kidding. I don't know. He's got some cold or something like that. So, in other words, I just told him, go back home, feel better, and come back on Thursday. He's going to do some really good stuff. He's going to get some deep down dive on who Kamala Harris is. Because I got to be honest, a lot of people just don't know who she is, honestly. She's the vice president. Everyone knows that. But how did she get to the position she's in? You're not going to want to miss that here Thursday. Running the dials as always, Mr. Deep State himself. Dawson, how you doing there?
It's me. I'm doing good. We've got the peak diet going right now, so I'm hungry, but it's okay because I'm keeping busy.
This episode's brought to you by Warren Wester of Keller Williams Realty. If you're looking for a home, you want to buy a home, or if you want to sell your home, give my good friend Warren a call at 612-419-7453. My personal real estate agent, believer in the cause, sings in my church choir. This guy sells the shit out of realty. There you go. Give him a call. Warren Wessel. Also, if you're buying a home, give the good guys at John Galt Mortgage Company a chance at financing that home. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. I almost said company.com. johngaltmortgage.com. By the way, go to my X account, my Twitter account today, and I shared a really good meme by them today. Hey, Minnesota, Ben Shapiro has a wonderful 3-episode unpacking of who Kamala is. Oh, of course. Of course. Ben Shapiro beat us to it. It's kind of like that, what is that, South Park episode where The Simpsons did it, You guys ever see that one? It's all about how they have an idea for an episode and Simpsons already did it. Tucker 91, Trump is coming to St. Cloud on the 27th. That's exactly first thing. Here, Dawson, pull up the one above A1. Just as we were going on air, we saw this come out. Trump will be in St. Cloud, and that's this Saturday. Now, we knew Senator J.D. Vance was going to actually do a dinner. It was a big fundraising dinner. I think that was in St. Paul. Do you know? Do you know, Tucci?
I said Minneapolis, but
Minneapolis,
I think
okay, in the cities. But they're apparently both doing an event in St. Cloud, Minnesota. You can go to event.donaldjtrump.com. You could probably see it there. This is at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center, right there on 4th Avenue in St. Cloud. And as we were going live, Tucci and I were talking about how Senator Nathan Wiesenberg from Little Falls, Minnesota, just, 45 minutes north of St. Cloud, something like that? Not that far north of St. Cloud, was actually doing a big Trump rally that Saturday. It's almost like, what does he know? How did he know this? It's just so funny, that coincidence there. Andy Parrish, thank God the ad told me to eat purple sweet potatoes. Oh, he's getting ads, I guess. Crazy times we're living in, says Northern Minnesota. Absolutely crazy times. Other thing I want to get to before we have some special guests on our program, some people that will make this show, how should I put this, Dawson? They'll jazz it up a little bit. They'll make it spicy.
That would be putting it lightly, yes.
Okay, because we're going to get into some conspiracies. I'm just going to ask some questions, and I think you guys are having the same questions, and we're going to detail a little bit of a timeline. But if you didn't watch the former director of Secret Service yesterday, Kim Cheadle, and I say former because she has now resigned from the position, you missed a lot because this was crazy. It was just an implosion to the point where the ranking member, the Democrat, ranking member of the Oversight Committee was calling for her to resign. And, of course, all the Republicans were as well. So, anyhow, we all know that Biden supposedly dropped out on Sunday, and people are rallying behind Kamala Harris. This is a story from NPR that says, majority of Minnesota Democratic delegates back VP Harris for president after Biden exit. Now, if you understand how this works, there's actually a legal process in the primaries where delegates are bound to a certain candidate based off the primary results. That candidate was Joe Biden. Now, I know Kamala's on the ticket, but they don't really formalize that till the DNC convention. Okay, so there was a lot of delegates bound to vote for Joe Biden. Now that he supposedly dropped out of the race, they're no longer bound, and so they need to pledge their support somewhere. Now, the news is telling you she's already got the delegates, the majority of the delegates. There's no delegates that have voted yet. That doesn't happen until the convention. So basically, they're alluding to she's got that many pledged. I don't know. It's like 1,900. I don't know how they get that all figured out at this point. But this is the NPR article. More than half of Minnesota delegates, the DNC, want Vice President Kamala Harris to be presidential nominee after President Joe Biden's exit from the race. NPR News spoke to or otherwise confirmed that a majority of the 93 delegates to the convention in Chicago got behind Harris a day after Biden bowed out. That includes fresh endorsements from Governor Tim Walz, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and U.S. Representative Angie Craig. Yeah, they're referring to, obviously, 93 delegates from Minnesota. You have my full support, Walz posted on social media early Monday, in which he referred to a phone call he had received from Harris within the last day. Let's go with this thing. Let's go win this thing. Why can't I read today? What's wrong with me? I can't read today. As of 8 p.m. Monday, 55 delegates said they would opt for Harris. 15 said they were either unsure, not willing to say, or favored an open debate within the party as to who the nominee is. The rest were not available to offer immediate reaction. Okay, I got to ask you this thing. Look at this. Scroll down there, Dawson, real quick. This is funny. NPR actually has a diagram of what it looks like with 55 delegates versus 15 and 23. Oh, that's, well, okay. They dumbed it down for all of us. I got to ask you this, Tucci. You and I do not come from the Democrat ranks, okay? I've never voted for a Democrat my whole life. I don't think I ever would vote for a Democrat, just judging by how that party's going. So not like we're experts on that side, but I would say on the other side, we've been around the circles. We know a little thing. We've been in the ranks. Can you imagine this shenanigan happening on the Republican side and us being on board with it?
I mean, I don't know. Who's Kamala on the Republican side?
Well, I just mean, like, imagine we had an incumbent president and a vice president that I assume was not liked because Kamala Harris was like the last finisher. And I mean, she drop out during the primary, at the beginning of the primary race in 2019 or sorry, 2020. Like she was so disliked, didn't fundraise hardly at all, or dropped in fundraising. Basically got out. She wasn't even a big front runner for the VP pick until Black Lives Matter happened, and then all of a sudden they really wanted to go on that race card. So I guess Pence would be a good example, right? Pence on our side, right? So, like, can you imagine the president drops out, and then all of a sudden you see like all the swamp and establishment going, you guys should get behind Pence. Like, wouldn't we be pushing back? Where are the voices on the left pushing back at this bullshit?
Well, we don't like Kamala. I mean, I know that Kamala is obviously not, I mean, is not polling well nationally or whatever. I don't know what the Democrat voters or the Democrat, activists. I mean, obviously there's like, roughly 50% of people that vote for either party in the, nationally in the general election. But then, like, the activist classes, I mean, a distinct minority that, right? Like the Republican activists or the Democrat activists that are heavily involved are different universe, right? So maybe, do they like Kamala? Do they not like Kamala? I don't know who the Kamala is in the scenario. And also, like, I mean, I guess, I don't know, if I were a Democrat, just like, because obviously this is, you didn't ask me the question beforehand, so there's no prep. It's all, like you said, raw, Yeah. So raw take on it. But I mean, if the Republican presidential candidate was clearly like a vegetable, and like they couldn't put two sentences together and couldn't, like, walk and misspoke all the time. I guess he's always
say Mitch McConnell was the president.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Mitch McConnell was the president, and it's like, the Democrat nominee is popular, and also the country was doing way better when the Democrat nominee was formerly president, and then as an assassination attempt, and you're like, well, we're absolutely going to lose, and not only are we going to lose this presidential race, but now we'll lose seats in Congress. We'll lose seats on the state house races across the country. We're going to lose governors all over the country. I'm putting myself in the Democrats' position, right? And you're asking me what I would think. I might think, you know what, I'm glad Hillary took out Biden, and I'm glad that they put up Kamala or whatever, because it's going to, mainly because, you and I care a lot about state politics. We're more involved in state races and stuff. If I'm a Democrat, I don't want to lose all these congressional seats, all these governor seats across the country, and all these state house and Senate races, and lose majorities in all these states because Biden can't is crapping his pants during debates and can't even talk.
Right.
So maybe if the ends justify the means or whatever. If I'm a Democrat, I might be, thank God, I thought I was going to lose my state rep, my state Senate, my state legislature is going to flip, my governor is going to go Republican. So I'm maybe glad that they took him out.
I think you're actually on top of something really good. I'm going to pause that real quick because we did have a Rumble rant by Love Minnesota. Did you see that? Is it on your screen here?
No.
So you're gonna have to scroll up. It looks like we got a troll on our page. So the comment section, Tucker's taking care of the troll. COVIDian lockdown.
All right. Love Minnesota. Tushy has some serious big stick energy going on.
There you go. What is your shirt, by the way?
It says Big Stick Energy.
Big Stick Energy. Okay, there you go. I love it.
I wore this in honor. I was told not to say this, but Royce White's going to be at the CD2 meeting tonight. I said, I'm wearing my Big Stick Energy shirt, but I was told you can't say that on the show. No, so, of course, I wasn't going to say it until I was told I can't, because you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to what you just said, because I think that was an interesting point. I
about Royce White, my shirt.
The Democrats are unifying so quick, and I think they're unifying so quick because they literally were in disaster zone. They literally watched the down ballots being crushed, which would, let's just play devil's advocate, and there was no threat on Biden's life or anything like that. They just showed Biden how Democrats are going to lose everything, all states pretty much, if he doesn't drop out. And so they're unifying because they were so desperate at this point that they needed some bit of hope, and Kamala gives them hope. Now, I want to throw this out at you. Since announcing that she is running, I guess, which you would credit is Sunday night, I guess that's what we would say, she allegedly has raised $250 million. Do you even believe that at this point? What? $250 million in roughly less than 2 days? That would be an enormous haul of cash. That's a record amount of cash. Now, I guess using your analogy or your idea here is maybe the Democrats are just hopeful now that they're not going to get so screwed down ballot. What's your say on that?
Well, I haven't looked at where the money's coming from either, but
no one has, by the way. You can't. That's just taking their statement.
The average donors, if people are giving $20 a piece or whatever, the donor class are just, maybe, or the not even the donor class, because if it's small donors, it's just Democrats all over the country saying, oh my God, we might finally have a chance to win the presidency. Maybe there's people that say we want our first female president, the people who still believe in multiple, that there's two genders rather than, we can't talk about gender anymore. But there might be just tons of people all over the country that are energized to give $20 or $50, but those people probably legitimately think, hey, maybe Kamala will win. I want Kamala to win. I don't like Trump. I'll give $100. I'm going to give $50. But those people are ignorant. She doesn't really have a great chance to win. I don't think it's about her winning. I think it's about mitigating the terrible loss.
Why do you say she doesn't have a great chance of winning?
Well, I don't know. Do independent voters respect her and like her and think that she'll do a better job running the country and tackling inflation and everything else to Trump? She's been Biden's VP. She's praised every single thing that Biden's done. Of course, she'll now try to distance herself. Oh, no, I'm totally different. I won't cause problems like Biden did. But you know what I mean? The country's people, everyone realizes they're way worse off right now than they were 4 years ago, that things have been destroyed. She was the VP. I don't think that obviously the same 30% are going to vote Democrat and the same 30% are going to vote Republican or whatever. And the people in the middle that might change their minds, they're voting because of the economy. They're voting because of different things. And Kamala versus Trump, I don't think that people are going to look at her and say, oh yeah, she's going to be the brilliant mind to save this country and, solve the inflation problem and everything. But I think that it does, that it mitigates Biden I don't know, like I said, crapping his pants during a debate, like absolutely showing that there's no way that he can live through the presidency or like be competent to go to a foreign leader or, not like accidentally nuke the world, so then the people, I mean, he would lose in a landslide and it would just hurt down ballot. So I think like the political class, the people who are these delegates for the DNC or like all of the state legislators and all the Democrat, powers that be everywhere, like they want her because it's going to help their state races, their congressional races, their governor races and stuff. And then the average Joe, the average person that's around the country, it's like, oh, wow, I want a woman president. I'm going to give $100. Like, I think it might be different things. Like the people that are raising money for her, like the people that are giving the money to her might be more ignorant to think that she's got a great chance to win. That's why they're giving the money versus like the people that actually maybe installed her.
And it's maybe like the fog of war too. If you're a Democrat, you just watched 3 terrible weeks for you. You watched your presidential pick go down. You watched Trump surge with this fanfare. Literally, you got Elon Musk saying, "I'm pledging $45 million after assassination," and endorses him. And you're like, "Oh my God, there's some bit of hope. I'm going to donate." And let's just throw this out there. Let's see. Is there 10 million Democrats nationwide that would throw in a couple bucks? Because that would be $25. That seems reasonable, right? 10 million? I'm sure they got 10 million. That seems like a lot. Boy, I should have crunched these numbers ahead of time. Brad Ganser's right. Show prep. Rodeo 55 says Kamala will not win. She's the border czar who never went to the border. I'm not so convinced people know who she is other than just the name that she's vice president. Pull up D1. We've talked about her a bit on the show. We poked fun at her quite a bit. This was a little montage. This is the New York Post, a montage. This is the statement she makes so many times. It's so utterly stupid that it's like, how does this person get to a position that she's been in? And then this montage has her statement on Ukraine, which was just a gem. And then her best statement probably of all time, where she's using her gender pronouns and identifies herself as a woman wearing a blue pantsuit. Here you go. This is Kamala Harris.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be. But there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been. Remember Venn diagrams, those 3 circles? Right. And then let's just see where they overlap. You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those 3 circles, how they overlap? I love Venn diagrams, so I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, the 3 circles. Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
Okay, I mean, and I tweeted that out yesterday. I mean, like that's the modern left right there. That's how crazy nutty these people are. I'm wearing a blue suit. I'm sitting at the table. Like, just in case you're confused who I am, I'm the Vice President of the United States. Trump was probably going to run that in a commercial over and over again, I would imagine. You look like you want to say something, Dawson.
I think that it's a weird phrase to have as a catchphrase, but I don't think that it's utter nonsense.
Unburdened by, what did she say?
It's like I'm looking ahead, unburdened by what could have been, or something like that.
I feel like I'm gonna lose IQ points by analyzing this statement.
Well, I sure hope not. You don't have many to spare.
Oh, this guy! Wow, I walked into that one, didn't
Thanks. I think that it's just the politician thing of I'm sounding smarter than I actually am. What is she saying? She's saying keep moving.
Yeah,
forward.
that's kind of my point, by the way.
Well, but every politician does it. Everybody. Literally every politician.
Yeah,
I've
to a
ever
degree,
seen.
you're right.
That's how they get elected.
Minnie actually pulled it off a lot better than her.
Yeah, I think that when it comes down to her, and to be fair, the Ukraine thing, she wasn't lying about any of it. Ukraine is a country, and it is right next to Europe, or it is in Europe. So, but I don't know. I'm just glad not to see Biden in office. That's all I really.
Dawson may be happy with Kamala, but Andy Parrish RF says the fact that she's negative 35 with 18 to 39-year-olds is insane. which I believe is Dawson's demographic, right? Net negative 35 with 18 to 39-year-olds. That is insane. How many Democrats have been that far down on?
Do we believe in polls now? Which I never know whether to believe in.
I think polls generally skew left, and so when you see these polls doing this, you almost think that it's underreporting. This is Real Clear Politics, the general election, Trump versus Harris, which is a national poll which doesn't matter in the presidential race. So you would actually look at the swing states, but Trump beating Harris 47 to 45. That was yesterday, Monday, and I actually looked at this one, and it actually put, and this is actually okay. So this is interesting. That was the Morning Consult. This is Quinnipiac. Oh, I don't know why I can't say that word right now. It actually put Trump versus Harris, and then Trump versus Harris and all the other people that will probably be on the ballots in many of these states. And it's Trump 49, Harris 47. And then when you put all the other candidates, it's Trump 45, Harris 41, so a 4-point advantage. Kennedy 6, Jill Stein 2, and then West would be 1. All right. Apparently the Libertarians didn't register on that poll. So that's a +4 for Trump. Now these are, and I remember I looked into that. That was about a 1,300 segment, or 1,300 national voters who were surveyed on that one. And so that's, it's giving you a wide range of people, but what you really want to know is in all the battleground states, where does this go? And I think it's a little too early to see those polls. I'm not seeing anything showing up here. We're going to have Janice and her sister Sheila joining us so soon. Janice is just running a little late. She was working out with my friend Jeff at Lifetime. I think it's still Lifetime Fitness. She's a rock star, by the way. We're going to get into some serious stuff. I'm just trying to kill some time here on some local news because I really want to get into these questions. These questions are insane. I watched while working the 3+ hours yesterday of Kim Cheadle, the former director of Secret Service, because she resigned today. And I feel like she only made me become more of a conspiracy theorist. That's how bad her performance was. She was so bad that literally you had the Democrat ranking member asking for her resignation. It's like you never see that kind of unity. Before Janice gets here, let's go to another story real quick. And by the way, I don't want to overlook the fact that it seems like every day here in Minnesota right now, the media is still talking about Tim Walz being on this ticket. And I get it. The homeboy, the guy from Minnesota, we want to talk about that. It seems awesome to propel someone from Minnesota up to the national stage, which hasn't really happened since, was it Mondale, I guess, right? We haven't had anyone on a major ticket since Mondale. And that's 1980. So it's been a while.
84, right?
Was it 84? Did I get that wrong? Was it the second time? Yeah, it was the second time. You're right. That would be bad news. And I'll tell you what, if she picks Tim Walz, we'll be spreading this message nationwide. I'll put it that way. Let's pull up Dawson, because this is a story you're not going to hear too many places. This is a hit piece on a Republican, a conservative running. I'll go to C1. This is from the Minnesota Reformer. Let me explain who the Minnesota Reformer is. It's a left-wing rag, okay? They're a bunch of leftist journalists in Minnesota who actually report some pretty interesting things from time to time, but they seem to have a really good relationship with the Republican establishment. And when they want an article written, a hit piece basically on a candidate they don't like, they use them. So we've talked about in this show, Jimmy Gordon has challenged Brian Johnson up in Isanti.
He's so forgettable, we can't even remember his name.
He's very forgettable as a congressman or legislator.
State, yeah. I can't remember his office.
I don't even know what the hell's wrong with me today.
How inconsequential and insignificant he is, we can't even remember his name or what office
There you go. Okay. Republican Minnesota House candidate has history of tax delinquency, filed for bankruptcy. Okay. Just a hit piece. Now, here's my question. Why are they writing this article about a legislative race that essentially no one in the state is even paying attention to? This isn't like the Cambridge Times or Isanti News. This is the Minnesota Reformer. If they were based somewhere, it's probably Minneapolis. So now they're doing this article.
Or Northfield. And where did they get this this information
Yeah, they
from?
just
It's
happened to come across
It's
it.
funny, like they had a hit piece on Drew Roach right before Drew's
No way.
endorsing convention, days before. And now coming right up to the primary, they got a hit piece on the conservative in the race versus the Democrat-friendly, left-leaning, moderate Rhino,
Yep.
who went to one of Senator Nathan Wiesenberg's Wolf meetings, and right after he got endorsement challenged, like the day I think Jimmy announced, I guess I heard Jimmy announced his run on a Thursday night at an Isani County BPOU meeting, and like the next night, Johnson is up at one of these wolf meetings trying to act like he cares about wolves, and there's hundreds of people there, and he gets up, and this is like, I can't even imagine this, like, that the fact that you're dumb enough to say this or dumb enough to think that maybe it's like you couldn't believe it. It's got to be a lie. So you're either dumb enough to think that it's a good lie and people will believe it, or you're dumb enough to anyway. He said, the wolves are really getting to be a problem. Down by wherever he lives, Princeton or something. Down by Princeton, I've hit 3 wolves with my car already this year. It's like, I don't know that anybody has seen any wolves down in that area, but even if there were wolves down there, nobody's reported one, let alone the fact that he claims to have hit 3 of them with his car. So it's like everybody's just looking around like, is this guy a legislator? And he claimed to hit 3 wolves with his car? Like, that's the worst lie I've ever heard in my life,
Oh, there you go. Dawson, you're proven correct. Politicians lie.
Should we send it to the Minnesota Reformer?
There you
the
go.
legislator claims to have illegally harvested 3 federally protected wolves with his car.
The article, Isani Mayor Jimmy Gordon, who's also a Republican-endorsed candidate for Minnesota House, has a long history of tax delinquency, including a $38,994 federal tax lien filed by the Internal Revenue Service has not been released according to my county records. The IRS filed a tax lien against Gordon in 2019, and Isani County has no record from the IRS that has been released, which typically means Gordon is still liable for tax debt. Gordon wrote in an email to Reformer that the remaining balance on the lien was paid off when we sold our home, this is a quote, last year before we built our new home. Go ahead and sit right there in those seats here. We're going to move on. Oh, yeah, perfect. I love it. Oh. Hey, Sheila, how you doing? I will be contacting the IRS to see why they have not notified the county of this. He included a photo of an IRS account page with a 0 balance. The IRS told the Reformer it cannot legally disclose the specifics surrounding the release of a person's tax debt. Now, first of all, I'm not going to read much more of this article because, quite frankly, I mean, this probably happened a long time ago. I think I was seeing something in 2010. I also, what are the circumstances? Plus, a tax lien. I don't think the IRS even has a right to tax you in the first place. That's just my viewpoint. So, that really doesn't hurt this guy, in my opinion. But anyhow, this was a part of the article I found so interesting. Gordon, elected mayor of Isani in 2022, is part of a group of GOP insurgents backed by the far-right group Action for Liberty. After beating Johnson at the GOP endorsing convention, Gordon now faces a 6th-term incumbent in an August 13th primary election. The insurgents. Where have we heard that term? That's like that term right out of the Iraq War. Insurgents coming in and infiltrating in that far-right group Action for Liberty. God, the media, they are just such a precious thing. All right, let's move on to national news here. Now that I got you in studio, put the microphones right in front of your face. Janice and Sheila, sisters. We'll calling you the Quinney sisters. How's that work? The Quinney gals?
Perfect.
Can we do that?
Yes.
So first of all, Janice is right here because they look so much alike. They're Dawson. So Janice is the closest one to me. So you don't go to Sheila. There you go. We got Janice on screen. How you doing, Janice?
I'm good. How are you, Jake?
Good. We've been friends for well over a decade.
Yeah.
And you are the official sponsor of Wings. We called you up when I was negotiating with Tushi to make him a regular on the show. He's like, I need a wing sponsor. I go, I know just a person. And you were like, yeah, I'll do that. So now we got a logo here. Is that right? Let's go back to Tushi. Is this Quinny's logo?
Right there.
And the menu up there?
That's the drink menu.
I love it. And I remember you showing me this before you opened up. And I was like, you nailed it, Janice.
That makes me so hungry.
Everyone in this office likes wings, but guess who eats them all? That's part of his deal. It's in his rider.
Yep.
Anyhow, Sheila, good
Hello.
to see you. Welcome, first time on the show.
Yeah.
Is this your first time in our studio?
First time in any studio?
Any studio you've never been on a set before?
No,
You're not gonna be nervous, are you?
I am.
You are nervous? Okay.
Yeah. Are you? Can you tell?
No, I can't. No, I shouldn't even ask you that because I can't tell. Well, don't worry. What we're gonna do is talk about something very simple, not something easy. Don't get nervous at all. We're just gonna talk about the failed assassination attempt on a former president and the all of a sudden removal of the current president, all within 8 days. So very simple, easy, delicate topic to talk about. Anyhow, the reason you're here is just like between Sheila and me, the Quinney sisters, we'll call them. We got all the answers. And Jess, I swear to God.
I was told the reason Janice was here is that her take on this situation is even spicier than her wings.
Depends on which wings.
Honestly, just to give the backstory, Janice and I have great conversations. You are definitely not boring to talk to. And you're always like, well, Jake, you got to see. And sometimes I think you're way off. And other times I'm like, yeah, I agree 100% with you. Here's what I don't understand. Dawson, let's pull up the article I just threw up on truthhurtsnews.com. Because I know a lot of the people in the audience are wondering the same thing. And I know you're probably watching other people. Tucker Carlson, for one, just had an interview with Jack Prozobiak and asking these same kind of questions. I think Joe Rogan's probably asking these questions. I'm sure all the new media is asking these questions. You know who's not asking the questions is probably the mainstream media at this point, including Fox News. But we got to ask these questions. So, as you guys know, Kim Cheadle, did you guys watch the testimony yesterday?
I watched just very little, just a tidbit.
It was a joke.
Yeah, I'm sure. It was all theater.
All theater, exactly.
Yeah.
So she, excuse me, testified in front of Congress on the assassination attempt to Donald Trump. And her testimony was so bad that both Republicans and Democrats called for a resignation. She dodged many basic questions American people want to know and didn't seem to have a timeline put together of the events that led up to shots fired at Trump. I was probably screaming at my desk when they asked her about the timeline. And she goes, I don't have specifics. And I go, well, isn't that what a timeline is? Where you have specific events matching up with times? 9 days later, she doesn't have a timeline as the Secret Service director. Okay? Big shock. She's fired today. Or, I'm sorry, resigned. All right. So here, I'm going to pose the question. Tell me if I've got this right. How did a 20-year-old Thomas Crooks take a position on a rooftop 140 yards away from the former president and fire off 8 rounds over 26 seconds before being shot and killed by a counter sniper?
He did not.
He did not.
Oh, you don't think he shot?
No.
No.
Not
Oh,
at
we're
all.
going to go deep as hell.
Should we preface this with, let's see, Rabbit Hole 2024? This is not what you will hear on any media whatsoever. And once you start digging into it, once you see it, you can unsee it. And you realize this is all pantomime. And it's done for a specific reason. So we'll continue on the whole shooting narrative that they got. And we'll give our opinions. So I'll let Sheila start, and then I'll go
Well,
on
I'm
from there.
confused. You don't... Trump was shot at, right?
No.
You don't think he was shot at?
No.
Not at all.
Oh, my God. This show is going to be way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I literally thought we were going to have a discussion about the shooter.
No.
This is literally going to go a different direction.
Fake blood on his ear then, or?
Oh, yeah. Squib.
Squib.
Squib?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see his hand come off his ear? There was no blood on it. Did you
Yeah,
see?
there was blood on his hand.
After the fact, he went like that.
After. Yeah, after. But when he went like that, or sorry, wrong
He
ear.
went like this?
Led, and he put his hand down to the podium to set the thing down.
Set the thing down.
We actually saw a video in super slow-mo. Super slow-mo. Right?
Yeah.
And you can see, you can see something fall from his hand. In super, like,
What
frame by
video?
frame.
Where did you see this video?
I don't know, somewhere online, whatever.
Real deep in the internet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Humor me for a second, okay? We're gonna go with the narrative that's been established. No, not the narrative. Not the narrative that's been established. We're gonna go with the timeline and details that have been established by multiple media outlets. Okay. First of all, Cheeto, and by the way, also with statements by Cheeto. Okay. So Cheeto said the building the shooter was on was outside the Secret Service's perimeter, but it was identified as a key location for a potential threat. It's 140 yards away. The point of the alleged shot, you guys don't agree it's a shot, but that there was a shot. It was 140 yards. By the way, that's at the peak of the top of the where the roof comes in. Okay, so 140 yards to the former president. Crooks was identified as a person of interest 62 minutes before he fired his first shots. He was even witnessed using a rangefinder, which Cheeto said was not a banned item at a campaign event. That was one of the most staggering things that I learned from this testimony yesterday. And I agree, like, a rangefinder isn't inherently dangerous. It's not a threat in and of itself. Actually, neither is a firearm unless it's used by someone. Why does someone use a rangefinder? Well, they're not golfing, right? I'm a big hunter. I know what I use rangefinders for. How far is that elk away from me, right? How far is this shot I'm about to take? How that doesn't bring up all the suspicion in the world. 62 minutes before the first shots were fired, he was identified as a person of interest. Also was outside of the metal detectors, wouldn't go in. Secret Service observed him on a rooftop a whole 20 minutes beforehand, according to multiple reports. The snipers were at a distance where their binoculars would easily shown he was a threat to the former president. Plus, doesn't the Secret Service utilize drones? Now, if you go to the Truth Hurts News article that I just posted up, I linked to this ABC story. Let's just quickly click on that link here, Dawson, just so you guys can see. This is ABC News, amongst many media outlets that confirmed that 20 minutes. Go ahead.
And the Secret Service saw him on that roof a full 20 minutes before he fired at the former president. So what's going on here? Pierre Thomas.
Okay, go ahead and stop it there. And I think we
timeline.
actually showed the same video last Thursday. So 20 minutes, they know of a gentleman on a rooftop 140 yards away, which is an easy shot with an AR-15. Sorry, when I say easy shot, easy area target. You know, the idea that you hit a head when your blood's rushing and all that stuff, not the easiest shot in the world, but definitely a shot where if you shoot 8 rounds, there's a good high probability you're going to hit a target. The infamous video, rally attendees screaming at law enforcement when they saw a gunman on the rooftop, happened 2 minutes before the first shot was fired. Then there was the actual shots. Crooks takes a total of 8 shots, we believe, although Cheeto wouldn't confirm how many shell casings were found on the rooftop, which I don't even understand. She wouldn't answer the question, how many casings were on the rooftop? It took 26 seconds for the counter-sniper team to shoot and kill Crooks. Once again, 26 seconds. He's shooting, and I think it was 2 different 4-round volleys, if I remember the video right. 26 seconds is a lifetime. How does it take him that long, especially knowing this guy was on the roof 20 minutes prior? And he was a person identified. And then here's Congressman Eli Crane, who we've talked about on this show, like the guy, a former Navy SEAL sniper. He visited the site in Butler, Pennsylvania, and had this to say. You guys can throw on your headset if you want to listen to this. This is a new video from Eli Crane, Congressman Eli Crane.
Here on the building where the supposed sniper took his shot. It's not that steep at all. Just had a 70-year-old man back here climb up on the roof easily. See that water tower behind me? Had Secret Service or anybody had sniper teams up there, this guy wouldn't have made it 5 feet up this roof. He would have been taken out. Behind me, you see the windows that Secret Service was supposedly in the second floor of this building behind. Makes you wonder why they weren't able to quickly dispatch the individual. And then behind me, back over here where those red roofs are, that's where the stage was set up. That's where the president was giving his speech from. A lot of questions here in Butler. But we look forward to doing oversight and getting to the bottom of it and making sure it never happens again.
Okay. Before we get deep into what you guys are representing here, because I honestly, Jess, I had no idea that's what you believe. Tushi.
Yo.
All right. And I don't know you as a conspiracy guy, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you dibble and dabble and like to enjoy these things as much as the next guy. When you hear this question, you see these accounts, what goes through your head is a rational thing that possibly happened that day? Because to me, the official narrative is some gross incompetence by the Secret Service, which it has to be either that or some kind of conspiracy. Just doesn't seem right to me. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that plenty of people, the deep state, plenty of people would want to take Trump out. It's clear that he has, plenty of enemies. So I absolutely, I think I said it on a previous show that, it seems absolutely reasonable to me that, and I'm not claiming one way or the other, but it certainly would be, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody has, I think, metadata or some type of things has supposedly shown that, somebody had been at this Crooks guy's place and at the FBI, near the FBI building
Have you guys
repeatedly.
seen that? Have you seen this?
So, like, that somebody would have been, putting him up to this or working with him, right? Hey, wouldn't it be good if we assassinated President, Trump or whatever, right? And, like, put him up to it. I wouldn't be surprised at all by that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if some members of the security team that day were, like, asked to look the other way, or like a couple people were paid to look the other way or threatened to look the other way or something like this, because clearly, like, it would be a huge advantage to somebody to take him out. People want to take him out. There's a lot of powerful people that might be able to take him out. But if there's, if there's many people involved with any of this stuff, it would get out, right? So it has to be pretty small universe of people that are involved, and a lot of threats are deep, right? You gotta kill anybody that might talk. As far as like the idea that, like the shooting was fake, that it was like fake blood or whatever kind of thing. It's like, how can my biggest, I guess the biggest reason that didn't ring true to me was that, like, if it were the other way around, if people, like, if it was Biden that was they were trying to prop up, it's like, well, anybody would people would cover for that. But how many people are going to cover for this? In other words, like, they're not going to look into it and find any evidence that this is what happened. Like, all these people would have to cover it up. It would be brilliant, right? It would be a brilliant thing if Trump were able to, like, I don't know, stage an assassination to bump up his numbers or whatever. But then, like, everyone around there would have to overlook it, right? They'd have to overlook that it happened. They'd have to hide all the evidence, right? All the evidence of the fake blood and everything else. Like, nobody would ever go and swab the blood or, like, figure anything out that what's going on. Hey, this isn't real blood. Hey, there's a little thing that from some Hollywood deal that they, did all this, because all the people that are up there would have to be in on it, or too many people would have to be in on it to be, yeah.
Okay, hold on, Jazz. I'm going to get to you. Honest to God, I didn't know you guys had that viewpoint. So
I didn't either.
Because it's going to be interesting. Dawson, you just saw the details as far as we know it. I guess the media could have their accounts wrong, but it doesn't seem likely. It seems like they've validated sources here. It does seem to match up with some timelines. How was this? Basically, I see two scenarios. The third scenario is what Janice is representing, but the two scenarios is either such gross incompetence with our U.S. Secret Service that a gaping hole in the security could exist where a 20-year-old can climb up on a roof with them knowing about this guy on site for at least 20 minutes before the shots are made. So gross incompetence by the U.S. Secret Service, or there's some kind of inside job. I don't see what the other thing would be in this case. So where is your head at on this? You like to be the naysayer against what we're saying on the show.
So a principle that I tend to err towards when it comes to just about any kind of problem-solving, critical thinking kind of thing like this is, whenever possible, substitute constructions out of known entities instead of inferences to unknown entities. Or, simpler put, the simplest answer is almost always the answer. Occam's razor, right? So when it comes to something like this, I think that the possibility of human error when it comes to Secret Service not doing their job, not communicating with the police station that was there, the police station not doing their job, I think that is far more likely than there's some kind of massive inside job to try to take out Trump. And if Trump was faking it, if it was like a false ear, blah, 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 that kind of thing, that only serves to hurt Trump's image. Because if people are like, that's what the left is saying all the time, is like the crazy ones on the far left are saying, oh no, it was all fake, it was all set up because Trump wants sympathy votes, or Trump wants whatever, he wants to look better. So I don't think that any of those people saying that it's fake one way or the other, I don't think that anyone on either side is right. I think that it's just human error mostly. I think I talked to you.
But hold on, when you say human error, then it's error on such a grand scale showing the incompetence of the U.S. Secret Service.
Yeah.
Because you see
Well, keep
many people.
the Secret Service and also the police force. That was
Yes, but it's the Secret Service ultimately responsible for communication and designating these sites.
Yeah.
Guys like me that have been in the military and guys that actually have been snipers like Eli Crane, Navy SEAL sniper, know a little something about this. And they could see the gaping holes in the security. It just seems to me it's like you got to be an incompetent force.
Yeah,
Okay.
I might have missed this because you said the simplest answer is the best answer, but your take is that like these people that are tasked with like the best security force in the world, they're tasked with protecting them, were just like completely inept and just completely messed it up.
And there hasn't been a successful attempt on a president for 40 some years. So,
But that's the simplest explanation, that like the best security team in the world
That's correct.
was just terrible.
That's correct.
it almost
I think
doesn't
simpler
seem
than-
like the best. Yeah.
doesn't seem simple at all, really.
Okay,
like,
well
how
let's
did that
go.
happen?
Let's depart from simple.
Now we go to fun.
I-
This is about fun.
And I'm sorry, you guys come on the show and then I don't go to you here, but I was like, how am I going to compartmentalize this one here? Janice, you threw me a real curveball in this one, but I love it. That's why it's so much fun to go to Quinny's Sports Pub and Grill. If I wasn't a guy with 3 little children, I'd probably be there more often. But every time I go and I see Sheila there, I enjoy the conversations. By the way, me and a bunch of buddies, do you remember Jeff, my buddy Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we end up going to the American Legion for like sports, have beers, or I mean for like our baseball league and stuff like that, beers. I'm like, once we get back over to Quinny's, it's going to be a good time because you go deep on this stuff. So what the hell happened?
Okay,
It's all a show?
let me preface a few things.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, you're using the media as a source for actual knowledge.
What do you use?
Not what you use. We go deep into
Not the mainstream. no
Not
way.
and yours is more mainstream.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
what you have to look at it, you have to look at it from an eye of fakery. I mean,
Correct.
we're taking down a global cabal that has been in power for hundreds, if not 1,000 years. So you don't just generalize, or not even generalize, should I say, specifically look at a certain instance by the way that we've done it all the time for how many years, like what the news media has done. Okay, so we can go through a ton of different examples why we believe that whole thing was fake. And I will start by saying this, and Sheila and I was going to bring it up, and Sheila...
By the way, before we just completely trash the media, which obviously part of our show is trashing the corporate media because they lie so much, there is still... Can you agree with this? There are factions of our corporate media that still do journalism. They check their sources. They validate sources.
Well, it's not 100% fake, but
Okay,
Trump
all
had
right.
a...
And that's what I do is I go through and look at, articles that are validated sources that don't seem to be propaganda, that don't seem to be biased reporting, that seems to be what most people would assume is, factual statements. Doesn't mean that they are. We never know. That's why I call this show The Truth Hurts.
Yeah.
We investigate what the truth is, but it doesn't mean we get it right all the time.
Yeah.
We don't know.
No, but let's just go back at this. Regarding media. 2021, Newsweek did an article. This is going to blow your mind.
Man, they got so bad, didn't they?
So listen to this, though. So you guys are talking about, is the whole thing real? Well, and I will start this, and Sheila and I will go back and forth on this. It's the premise that this is real, and we take the premise of it's not, and there's a reason for it, and this conversation can go
I
on
stop
for a
you?
long time.
When you say this is not real, what do you mean by that? These are actors.
This was all set up. Trump has 80 to 100,000 at a rally, and then he goes to this rally, and how many did he have there? Okay, so
I don't know the answer to that question, but do you believe a rally occurred in Butler, Pennsylvania 10 days ago, whatever that was, 10 days ago maybe it was?
something happened. I don't know if I'd call it a rally, but when you really look through the lens of like each individual people, it's like, is that a real? The people standing there with their phones as he's being shot.
Seems very realistic to me.
You're gonna hit the floor, man.
I don't think they knew what was going on.
Oh, you don't think
Or
nowadays
Run
with
Hill
all the
Stampede,
TV
you know, like-
and everything?
That
people-
was interesting that there
I was
wasn't
at
a
the
stampede.
state fair. Actually, I'll take Janice's. I'll stand behind Janet. What Janice is getting at here. I was at the state fair at the Action for Liberty booth one night while we were just walking south of the Action for Liberty booth, like less than a block south of there. A few gunshots rang out. Oh my God, the stampede of people out of the fair. Like people losing their shoes or sandals, you know what I mean? Like just people speeding by, dropping stuff. There's stuffed animals laying around, like people's, like I said, people's sandals or whatever. And it was a wild stampede for the excess fair. Somebody shot, a shot rang out and people were running. I mean, it was insane
We've
the
been
way people
prepped by
ran out of that.
TV and movies about shots. You hit the ground.
Okay, let me.
So why do these people all stand around? I mean, there's gunshots ringing out.
Okay,
and
yeah,
they're
you
standing
got you.
around.
But what are you trying to say? I don't
Okay,
understand.
listen to this. This is what I'm trying to say. Newsweek 2021 exclusive inside the military's secret undercover army. Let me read just a little fraction of this. The largest undercover force the world has ever known is one created by the Pentagon over the past decade. Some 60,000 people now belong to the secret army, many working under masked identities and in low profile, all in a broad program called Signature Reduction. The force, more than 10 times the size of the clandestine elements of the CIA, carries out domestic and foreign assignments, both in military uniforms and under civilian cover in real life and online, sometimes hiding in private businesses, some of them household name companies. So the point is, you could be married to somebody and you don't even know that they're part of the secret army. So when you
Well,
get a
I'm pretty
smaller
certain I know
group
that
of
one.
people like that, you might know somebody and it's so secretive, they have to put this on. This is pantomime. This is done for a reason, and the reason is a longer discussion, but the point being is we need to get our country back, figure out I think the good guys already know what happened.
E1 there, Dawson, I did find the article she's alluding to. By the way, same thing we do, because Newsweek, mainstream corporate media, they've fallen so much, by the way. You and I, we all remember Newsweek being the weekly magazine,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. This youngster, I guess Jesse's not here. Usually I'm used to younger people on it. All of us here remember Newsweek for what it used to be. They've really just gone down to an online thing. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It says exclusive inside the military's secret undercover army, alluding to about 60,000 people.
And we'll go into specifics
But
about
you know what I'm saying?
why
This
we
is what
think
I
it's
do with
fake.
Yeah, but this is what I do with media too, right?
Absolutely.
You have to go to some sources in the mainstream media because there's blotches of truth.
But
so
how
don't
do you
hate on
know
me for
what is
doing the
true
same.
and-
But I did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now,
Okay.
what do you got, Dawson?
I'm honestly just chilling back and eating some popcorn. I'm glad that
No
my
wings?
life is. I'm glad that my life is simple enough.
No,
not
he
to have
didn't
to
share
worry
the
about
wings
that.
with Dawson.
Yeah,
Just kidding. Actually, he gave me some Parmesan. So, by
I
the way,
gave-
that's my
the
favorite.
Parmesan was for you.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was wondering why I got
that-
30 wings instead of 20. Wow.
Oh, that news never got
Nobody
to me.
ever
That's
nobody
the
ever
point
told
of the
me.
Parmesan. I can't. Wow.
Quinny, can I please have some?
Yeah,
next
you
time?
have what you want.
They are fantastic wings. By the way,
pretty good.
the lighting in your set brings out your color so well, Janice.
Oh.
You got a super good tan. But it's all-
Actually, I
but
don't.
it's all
I've been
fake.
working all the time.
But it's all fake.
Okay,
so, it
so
doesn't
now
mean-
let's.
No, hold on.
let's-
But what? So what do you mean? Is this a staged event? Like this is
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
okay?
Now,
But okay,
listen,
but people
Sheila.
are actually in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 21st. Correct? No, but that's quite the look.
Most likely, but we don't know for sure.
It's
what's
like when
going
Senator
on.
Nicole Mitchell's lawyer was asked like what, all these questions. He's like, he wouldn't say, and then they said, "Was your client arrested on, such and such a date and booked into the Becker County Jail?" And he said, "I'm going to say probably."
Probably. K-Wall for life. You are a crappy spouse
So,
if you don't know your
Jake-
spouse is a spy, which is an awkward thing for him to say, knowing that T-Wall, the lovely T-Wall, is also on there.
Do you remember when the election first happened and the Biden, whoever the heck that is, the Biden, and I told you that it was all fake and everything, and then you're like, oh, you're crazy, whatever. And then you came in on to Quinny's on St. Patrick's Day, and I was in
Damn it,
my
I was hoping
office,
she didn't have a memory.
and you text me going, oh my gosh, what's going on? That was the day you first saw the CGI Joe with his hand going through the microphone. And then since then, how many more CGI Joes have there been where his head goes off? How about when he's getting the jabs and they have the green screen behind him and they got this fake set? And they even Obama and Oprah joked about how they made it look like they were together, and they're showing us that everything's fakery.
Okay, but hold on. This is what's and this is why we have these great conversations. By the way, not just great wings, great conversations at Quinny's. I swear to God, I didn't book you on the show just to keep talking about Quinny's, but you understand why it's so much fun to go to Quinny's? These are the conversations I have. By the way, Janice, you're so much fun as a proprietor. You walk around, you're always having conversations with people. All your workers seem to love you. Everyone's having a good time at Quinny's. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way. And you have that new section there that's freaking awesome. I love that new section. What do you call it? The
Pub Q.
Pub Q. It's so good.
So
wait a second. Wait a second.
Q. What?
I didn't even put that together before.
Go to Sheila now about the whole pantomime thing, and she will
hold
elaborate.
on, Sheila. So what do you mean things aren't real? Is it real that we're in the room together right now on a set? Is that real?
Yeah.
Okay. But once you see Trump at a rally, that's not real? Like, I don't understand.
I don't even know if that's really Trump there or somebody in a
mask.
Disguise.
The masks are huge right now.
I've witnessed videos with the neckline.
But hold
right
on.
here.
Trump is a real person, right?
Pardon?
Well,
Trump is a real person.
Well, yeah, he is. And
so why would there be a fake Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania? Because Trump's in.
So he doesn't get
hurt.
So there isn't
why do they have stunt doubles in movies? You know what I mean? You have stunt doubles. If you're going to take shots at somebody, you're not going to put the real guy there. You're going to put a stunt double there.
Did you see the video of the lady who used to work for the CIA and she helped with Hollywood with masks? When Bush was in office and she was in Bush's office and she had the mask on and Bush had no idea who she was. That was what, 2001 or 2002? Think 22 years later and look at Hollywood and what they can do. Hollywood uses the CIA to get their ideas.
I have seen some clips of Joe Biden, giving a press conference or doing something, and then they screenshot, they pause this video, and there's a piece of something hanging off of something, like it's a mask. Right, I have seen that several times. I mean, I don't.
Tucker says Saddam had body doubles, which is true.
I got way too much to do to leave that alone and go look into is this a mask? But I mean, I've seen it. I see a tweet that says, "Look at this, he's wearing a mask," and it's it is literally on the video of him speaking. You can pause it and find this thing where it looks like a mask is hanging off his.
Okay,
whatever.
so by the way, we're an hour in. I gotta give a shout out to Yes Solutions for all your shipping needs. Whether you're shipping a pallet or multiple truckloads, the Patriot Carl and Nelson runs this company. You can call Kyle at 651-797-2451 to take the hassle out of shipping. Honest to God, if you're shipping multiple truckloads and you don't do it too regularly, what the hell do you know? Right? You got to call someone in the business, someone that knows the shipping world. That's why you call Kyle at 651-797-2451. Yes Solutions. I almost forgot I had to read that ad too. And she's a real patriot. I wonder where she stands in this. Should bring the Patriot Carl Nelson back in. By the way, also brought to you by Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud, Minnesota. All right, Janice.
Well, we have a couple comments here.
Okay, go ahead.
But Marty 1967 says, ear wounds bleed so bad. Trump's own words at the RNC. Why no blood on the hand or shirt? Why did the blood not oxidize on his face? Why the small number of people? Bleeding Aluminum says, did they fake 2 injured and 1 dead?
So do you not believe someone died?
And then
you don't.
No, they have to throw that in for emotion.
Well, if someone didn't die, would everybody think it was fake?
Unless the shoot. Well, I mean, it's hard having this conversation because you didn't believe a shooter was there.
No, I mean,
they didn't say that.
I mean,
so I'm just saying, a shooter would be wildly off, or he was aiming for somebody else, in the crowd.
No, but
the shooter shot the person in the crowd. Right? I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing.
But I'm just saying,
But look at you have a media narrative, you have a conspiracy narrative, and then you have really what's going on, and nobody knows really what's going on here. But the media narrative, if you have somebody who actually died, then you're bringing in emotion, as she said, and then when you're dealing with a subject on emotion, it's like your brain isn't thinking clearly, you know? So they throw that somebody died in there, so then they can say, well, someone died. Well, how do you know? It's the same television telling you this happened, that someone died.
It's a lot of people in on that.
How about Ashley Babbitt?
Hold on one second. What do you?
My question was going to be, it's kind of an overarching argument, but if this is staged, if it's fake, if Trump got shot, who's staging it? Who does it serve to benefit?
Well, Trump has to be in on
shot?
it because he's got a body double there. Wait. Why are you nodding your head that way, Janice?
Because what we are watching is pantomime.
Okay, so hold on.
On purpose.
Is it Compatori? Is that how you say the name of the fireman that?
Is it with that A in the middle or not with
That was
the A?
interesting. That
Corey.
Yeah, Corey Compatori.
It kind of rhymed.
Compatori.
Yeah.
So was that Trump at the RNC convention?
It's hard to say, you know.
Is Trump even doing anything? Is he even campaigning?
He's well insulated, and at some point, I think he will come out. We don't know how much is going to be released, but at the time that things happen where our freedoms are restored and they figure out the election, well, they figured out the election fraud already, but once we get to a fair election, because no one really believes, using Chris Paul from Badlands Media's term of, did Joe Biden really receive 81 million lawful American votes? Not possible. Okay, so with the voter machines being hooked up to the internet, and what we saw in like 2,000 Mules even about the
Which seems to
stuffing of
be
the ballot.
discredited by now.
What?
That seems to be discredited by now.
How?
2,000
How?
Mules.
I don't think that it matters if it is discredited, because if
It
was
doesn't matter
discredited by
anyways,
the
but
media,
how is
right?
it discredited?
What was that?
It was discredited by the media, so
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
said-
who
Play that, yeah.
discredit- why was it discredited?
They lost a lawsuit. They actually had to quietly take down 2,000
And you think
Mules.
our legal system, which is British accredited, whatever, is legal? That's
But,
maritime law, and
okay.
we need to go back to
But
common
Janice, this
law
is where
because it's
I know, but
it's
this is
all
where I go
BS.
with you, because the conspiracy level that you're representing is so vast that everyone's got to be into it. By the way, I was just scrolling through some potential movies this weekend, and Truman Show popped up on whatever
Yep,
Netflix
we're
or
living
whatever.
in the Truman Show.
Right, and I was like,
And The Matrix.
and I was like, what age do my children watch it? And I looked, it's PG rated. I was like, oh, but I'm like, hold on one second. Will my 9 and 7-year-old get the Truman Show? But see, the Truman Show is just good entertainment. It would
Everybody
have
comes.
so many people in on it.
What about The Simpsons? How much disclosure is The Simpsons from how many years? And I watched a thing of the Netflix show, and I forgot the name of it. It had to do with the COVID, and he saves the day by figuring out the hydroxychloroquine saves the world. He wakes up and they go, "You saved the world. You told us hydroxychloroquine," and this was like 2006.
But if this was real and The Simpsons was like leaking all of this information about what's happening in the future, then The Simpsons wouldn't be running anymore, because whoever's running this grand scheme would get into The Simpsons and assassinate them. Like, I don't know.
Not if the war began 60 years ago.
And another thing, if you understand the deep state, and this goes on a spiritual level too, with God and the devil. The devil or the deep state, whoever you want to say, they have to let you know what they're doing. It's kind of a permission-based thing. Not that they're going to say, "Hey, can we do this?" But they have to eke out the truth of what their intentions are, and that's what they go by for permission. So whether it's 40, 50 years ago, something on TV that now is relevant, like Back to the Future. Didn't in Back to the Future say, hey, don't go to 2020, or was he say 2020 or 2024? That's a horrible year or whatever. Why did they pick that year? Why didn't they say 2012? So once you start
2012 was a bad year too.
Once you start
The whole
looking
world
at
was supposed to end in 2012.
Yeah, look past movies and TV shows. They let us know. But this goes back to the premise of we are in the Great Awakening, okay? And we have been so programmed, or you can say MK Ultra, which is the CIA created.
That actually happened.
And they did. And some people, and I don't know why my sister and I woke up to this how many years ago. We totally get it, and we see things that others can't. And we don't blame others for being programmed, but we do find it in our hearts to wake the masses up, because you cannot stop what's coming. Get ready. You think it's crazy town now? Get ready for major clown show coming up.
Oh, it's already a clown show.
Wait,
This
no.
election
You haven't
cycle's
seen
insanity.
anything yet. Are you waiting? You need to be prepared for a scenario that could be on the level of World War III, world-ending deal that might have to be thrown out to wake the rest of the sleepers.
Well, that doesn't seem too crazy. Razzle dazzle, you ladies are making Jake's head spin this afternoon. V for Vendetta is more accurate, says K-Wall for life. Don2448, sorry ladies, I thought only the Democrats were this nutty.
Yay. I don't care.
Can I say something?
By the way, love Minnesota. Many people believe Jeffrey Epstein's death was staged also. I do.
I don't think he was dead.
He's not
I don't
dead.
think he's dead. I think he's.
Oh my God.
Think
All right,
about,
this one I
Open
can
that
get
can of worms there.
That one I can get
just
behind that one.
Really?
Come on.
Silly,
You don't think he's
silly.
dead?
This guy had the goods on what? 90% of DC and all the world pedo. I mean, this guy is right at. Trump's gonna have him sit in a cell in New York? No way. They put this guy in a safe house long ago.
We lost our common sense. So let's go back to the shooting, and Sheila and I will go back and forth.
What
We're-
shooting? No
we're-
shooting
we're
occurred.
not
according to
confirming
We're
you.
using your terms.
Attempted
Okay.
assassination.
Attempted
if,
assassination.
Okay.
What do you got, Tucci? Hold on.
I'm
I'm
using
still
your
trying
words.
to. That we touched on the Epstein thing. We just pivoted off that right.
Well,
Well,
no,
what do
we
you want to
don't-
say about
I
Epstein?
wanted to
I
be
was-
short.
We could spend hours.
By the way, our
yeah, we could, but
country's
I mean,
unified
I would
on
say if
that one.
if Epstein was the only one who knew all this information, they could fake hang him. You know what I mean? All the cameras didn't work. He got hung. But if someone else knows it, which if I was Epstein and had all this information, wouldn't I give somebody else a copy of it in the case they suicided me or whatever? So if he's got the information, they can't just kill him. Like like people would say, I would not. Like obviously he didn't hang himself in prison. We know that. Either he was killed by somebody, which is what I've generally believed.
Yep.
But when I hear the new conspiracy, I think, well, you know what? If he had all this information. Somebody else probably had a copy of it. It's like, you kill me in prison, I'm gonna have it'll be released. Okay, we'll take you out. We'll turn the cameras off, ship you off to a new island somewhere, and you can be somewhere else, and we'll fake your suicide.
Tucker says the only thing that can make this election more interesting is aliens from outer space.
Oh,
I'm
we
not
got
gonna get
Joe
I'm not-
Tarab. He looks like an alien.
Yeah,
Totally.
but I'm not
looks
gonna
like
get your
an
comments on aliens because
No.
we gotta go. We got a level set here.
Okay.
We gotta get back. Hold on. We gotta get back to.
We
gotta get back to the
the
shooting.
assassination
Yeah.
attempt. Okay, so just throw conspiracy everything out the window and look at the facts. Okay, number one, there's no way this 20-year-old got on a roof and nobody saw him, or they saw him for 20 minutes. There's no way that's going to happen. There's no way. Common sense
Well, hold
has
on.
to tell
We
you.
have to use
It
our
could
gut
happen.
and discernment.
No,
it didn't
no, it
happen.
cannot.
Sheila, here's what
No,
I
it cannot
believe
happen.
right now at this point with the information I have is that that there was probably a concerted effort to allow a gaping hole in the security apparatus.
You think Donald Trump would allow that?
How would
One of the richest men in the world is going to allow that?
No,
Are you
Trump
kidding
wouldn't know.
me?
Trump wouldn't know. Trump wouldn't know this.
Okay, what did Trump do when he first got into office? He said, I don't want Secret Service. I'm going to have my own people till these people are gone. That's what he did. As soon as he stepped into office, he didn't want nothing to do with this. He had his own people overlooking him. The Secret Service was there, But he did not want them there.
Because
But
he
he
didn't trust
had-
them because they're this.
But
they're
he
the
had Secret
swamp.
Service.
He did, but those weren't the people next to him. No, he had his own private security when he entered office. You got to realize
Okay, let's.
they wanted him gone.
All right, we got to stay a little more focused here.
Well,
we
you
are.
now this is what I'm saying.
You say Trump wouldn't allow this guy to get on the rooftop, but Trump is in entertainment mode, right? That's his job, entertain a crowd. So he has no idea about the security that's happening around
Yes,
him.
he
Are
does.
you kidding?
No, I'm not
Oh my
kidding you. Why
God,
would he?
he does.
So why would he?
Did you read the Art of the
Oh
Deal,
my God.
Jake? Do you know how brilliant that man is?
He's a brilliant man, but that has
And
nothing to
he
do with
doesn't
hold
know?
on. Has nothing to do with intelligence. It's just the fact that at some point, and in the case of Donald Trump, he's got some years of experience with the Secret Service, being decent enough operators where no attempt on his life has occurred that's been anywhere close
How do you
to-
know?
Are you kidding
that
me?
we know of was anywhere close to happening.
How do you
How
know?
do you know?
Well, we don't know,
They
but
kept
Yeah,
it on the
we
wraps,
don't know.
and there were attempts. There was an attempt on.
well, how
Melania.
can we have a conversation if
How
there's
about
just so much
Melania's life?
information that's not known to anyone?
Do you know the attempts on Melania's life?
No, I have no idea. I've
Okay.
never heard of this.
Well, there has been plenty. But let's go
How
with
do- how do you-
Cheeto.
wait, how
Can
do-
we
how do
can
you
we talk
know?
about her?
No, we got to
No,
stay
I
on this
just
scene.
I want to finish.
But
so
do you understand that Trump's job is not to understand the security situation
probably
while he's
detrimental.
performing and speaking, right?
It's probably detrimental if he were to know that
Correct.
stuff,
Yeah, it'd
'cause
be very detrimental.
No. Okay, so let me just finish here. Okay, so throw all the conspiracies aside. Number one, the gaping hole and that would have never happened. I'm sorry, I can't. You're never going to convince me that it got to that point where this kid could shoot.
So everything that's being reported right now is complete fake news then? Because the way
don't
I
know
framed
about
this
everything.
question was
I don't know
it's either
every
gross
detail.
incompetence by U.S. Secret Service, which is supposedly very capable, mission ready.
Yeah, I
to
don't
protect the
believe
United
that.
States.
I don't believe it for a second.
Okay.
That's where the fakery
Or
comes in.
it was like an inside job. Those are the two scenarios that I see playing out. Am I missing something, Dustin, off the top of head?
That's the
Seems like
narrative.
it's gotta be one of
That's
those
the
two.
narrative. That's
and
one
you're
of the
just
narratives.
squashing all that, saying it didn't even
Okay,
happen.
now, what nicked his ear? What grazed his ear?
Nothing. It was just blood. That is fake
No,
blood.
what supposedly grazed AK-40?
No,
AR.
AR-15. We assume it was a
AR-15 shell.
223.
Okay,
Hear
have you
experts
seen them?
talk about
No, bullet, not a shell.
Okay. Well, the bullet, okay, grazes his ear.
Yeah.
I've heard from I'm not. I own a gun, have a gun, shoot a gun.
I did
But
too until I
I'm
lost
not.
him in that
I'm
boating
not
accident.
professional on the gun thing, but I've
Sure.
heard from gun people
military,
that-
especially.
I'm one of
that
those guys.
thing grazes your ear. The sound, the from it, that's going to knock you on your ground, and it's going to take out your equilibrium for a period of time.
I don't think that's accurate at all. Not the way that it would nick the ear.
I don't think
No,
that it would,
it's the sound it makes. Well, there's
No, not at all. Not at all. Not one bit. That's not accurate information there. Whoever
I
fed that
think
to
it
you.
is.
Well,
I
I've
think it
heard
is.
bullets
But
whizzing over my
then,
head.
but then you have
well, hold
the
on. hold on.
photograph.
Don't skirt over. That's not true. Jake just said that's not true.
Who?
Jake just said that the bullet whizzing past your ear can't knock you, whatever you.
It would. There's a.
It's moving faster than the speed of sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does register a noise, but it's a whizzing noise. I know what the sound. I know the
I've
sound.
watched videos of gun experts who were in military, and they know they've been gun experts for years and years and years, and I can send you the videos that say there's no way this could have happened like this.
Well, you could send me those videos, but
Yep.
I actually have expertise in this area. I wasn't
Well, I shoot too. My son
Yeah, but I
has
don't
an
just shoot. I was
my
an
son
infantry
has
officer
a
to
AR-2, and
deployed
I
twice overseas, led troops overseas.
How many bullets have grazed your ear?
I've had I'm just thinking like basic training. For basic training, we do at then Fort Benning, Sandhill, Fort Benning. We did a obstacle course, whatever you want to call it, where you had live bullets firing over your head. They always acted like it was a foot. It's probably 5 feet just for safety precautions. But you still hear those bullets grazing over your head. I know what a bullet sounds like. Hell, I hate to say this, Tushy, but we both are Wisconsin deer hunters. You've been on a drive before. I've heard a bullet whizzing over my head before. So, honest to God, I know what a bullet sounds whizzing by at close range.
Well,
next to your ear.
not next to your ear. You'd have to.
Well,
I
Jake,
think you'd have to.
Granted, I haven't had
experience
one. I don't know how close
Okay,
a bullet's
and
been
then-
to my
and
ear,
then
but it's
after-
been pretty close.
Jake, this remember when we're talking about global warming, climate change, and you're
Yeah.
like, you need this exact, like you've never seen it, but you kind of know. This is what it's like. This is what it's like.
I don't know what you mean by that.
That's okay. I just had to say it, or else I was.
No.
not gonna-
Make your point.
I just did.
No, you didn't make a good point. No
So-
one knows what
You
you're
might not
saying
think
there.
it's good.
So
Make it. Hold on. What are you trying?
No. So
How are you tying this
arguing
to
with you
climate
about
change?
Climate change is very similar to this conversation that we're having right now. Like, have you ever had a bullet whiz by your ear? No. Okay, then you can't talk on it. It's like,
And
No,
you
I'm
guys
just
haven't
saying you
had
don't
bullets
know.
whizzed by your ear, so
You
how
don't-
can we talk? How can anybody talk about it except like
well,
I go?
apparently these people that send you videos and talk about it, they do know, but I bet they haven't had a bullet whiz by their ear.
But how
before.
about that's their that's what they do for a living.
Is have
Bullets
whizzed
whizzing by their ear?
No, they are experts in the area of
You send
those
me
type
you
of-
send me this video.
I'd almost prefer that job over this this moment.
you send me that video, okay?
So then after that, well, if a bullet grazed his ear, is it going to change the trajectory of that bullet?
Not likely. Not with something like the cartilage of an ear. I doubt it would.
Okay. So then you have the so-called photograph of the bullet whizzing by. Do you believe that?
It's definitely doable. In fact, I've watched a video of it being recreated with camera that does the frames. Whatever can get that many frames. What is it?
It's a high-speed camera.
Yeah, but what do they call that? 1/62nd frames.
There's a million.
But this
of them.
was a photographer just sitting there, happened to snap
Yeah,
a
but
picture
it's
and got a
also
bullet
the
going
leading
by.
candidate for president, taking a ton of shots.
Yeah,
You would-
I don't. And anyway, where did that bullet go?
It's a one in a
Where'd that
billion
bullet-
shot, but
where'd
those
that-
do happen.
Where'd that bullet go?
From best I can tell from that area, it would have gone basically probably to some field or something like that. There was no one behind him at that angle.
Does the answer to this
Well,
question
go
matter?
pull it, Dawson. Pull up the Truth Hurts article real quick because there's a small diagram on there on the very top. You see there. No, I can't.
It's
bring
hard
it
to
up
see.
here. I can't see it. No, just pull it down. Sorry, pull it down so I can see. So I got a camera in my way. You see that angle? Well, it does look like there would be people behind it, I guess, because it's showing the bleachers.
And no one got hit.
Yeah, but it could have gone into the ground. It could have gone into the steel. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's
All the people.
okay. At that point, I guess I'd have to look more at the angle and where everyone was.
Yeah.
There's some comments here. I'm trying to figure out if this is regarding Epstein or Trump or Biden. So Tucker 91, you got to clarify here. Tucker 91 says white powder in the mail. The one chick mailed rice in. And then Bill Dingsfin says not the white powder that Senator Jasinski gets in the mail from his guy in Florida, a half zip at a time. So I don't know what these comments are about. Tucker 91, Bill Dingsfin, you want to clarify for us? I don't know what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So let's talk about Cheeto, because that was one of the first things you mentioned. Do you honestly think they would hire a 5 something to be in charge of protecting Donald Trump, an inept?
Yes.
well, what-
yes, 100%.
well,
yes,
it's
these days. I would believe they would
DEI,
do that.
But also,
yes.
what's her name? What's her name?
Kim Cheeto is
Kim
what you said.
Cheeto.
But she's talking about the.
I know, but they used to call Trump Cheeto. Maybe there is a connection here. They called him a Cheeto.
there you
know
go.
what I mean? Right? So is this?
then you're going down this
now they're telling us
conspiracy.
ahead of time, right? They're telling us what's going to happen. They kept calling him a Cheeto, and then they get this Kim Cheeto. Cheeto.
Okay.
Right,
L-E.
Where's the
Yep.
hat?
What hat?
What hat?
Trump's
Oh,
hat.
Trump's hat?
I want to see Trump's hat.
Oh,
Well,
from
it fell
that
on
he
the
was-
ground
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure, right?
Where's Trump's hat?
Well, it surely fell on the ground.
Shouldn't we see a
He
Trump's
lost his
hat
shoe
with-
apparently just by the
Yeah.
force of being taken down.
Give me my shoes. I put my fake blood packet in there.
Oh, and
I got to
did you
get my
know that
shoes.
Donald Trump is trying to sell shoes now, and he says, "Shoes? Where's my shoes? Where's my shoes? I got to get my shoes on. Shoes."
Wait, so
He's a
That's
marketer,
actually
man.
that's
Is that-
actually hilarious. I never thought that
He's
one.
a smart dude.
That's really funny.
yeah,
that's-
he's trying to sell shoes. So
that's
why
funny.
not mention the shoes the 3 times?
Well, because I'm sure he's wearing like nice leather loafers, not like the sneakers he's selling.
You know,
It doesn't
one,
matter.
one of our local subscribers who subscribes to locals for extra, information, Liberty, told me that Trump was trying to get his shoes because he secretly has lifts in them because he wants to appear even taller than he is, and he didn't want that to be found by someone, so that's why he wanted to get his shoes.
And it was confirmed on this show that Trump does have normal sized hands. Dale did confirm that.
big
Okay,
hand.
that's
Dale
fine.
said he had massive hands.
Yeah.
Not as
I-
massive as Royce
Then we're
White.
starting to wonder
I
where
would
Dale.
say if Trump was like 5'9" or 5'10", he would. But the dude is taller.
Yeah.
He's over 6
I know,
feet,
that
even
was-
with lifts.
Allegedly.
That was the argument
not
that I
really.
made to Liberty, was that I said he's tall, he's way taller than anybody else he's ran against. What's the point? He goes, well, and Liberty says, well, his son is so much taller than him, and he's like always has to be the tallest person around, and his son, dwarfs him, so he now wears lifts to be closer in height to his son.
So did you
apparently,
guys-
hold on. Apparently, Love Minnesota's been bought off here. Let's go ahead and read the Rumble rant.
Not gonna lie, I kind of want to see Tushy trying out more flavors of Quinny's wings throughout the show.
That was something I was going to bring up earlier. I don't know what like your spice range for wings are, but I'd love to see how spicy they get. I love spicy wings.
Yeah, we have a range. We have between dry rub and the wet wings. We have a range between. I'm not a spicy person.
They have a range of wings, but none of the wings are even remotely close to as spicy as these.
But we do
tapes.
have hot
Hold on.
sauce
Are you
to
and
put on.
are you and
extra.
Tushy going to go into the kitchen and come out with the Liberty Longbeard sauce?
We could do that.
need to do
On-
that.
And this is I don't know if I would say a plug, but my kitchen manager passed away.
Yeah.
And he created so much there, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to find anybody like him. He passed away within 2 months ago or something. He died of
pancreatic
cancer within
cancer.
like 5 weeks. He had
Yeah.
turbo cancer, and
Yeah,
it
it's
just
too
took
bad.
him. But he created so much, and if he was still alive, he would go in the kitchen with you, and he would create something phenomenal. And I'm going to hire a new kitchen manager in the fall. But for right now, I'll talk to a few of the cooks and see if we can come up with something.
Okay.
So
We're already an hour and a half into it, so we're gonna go into our overtime hours of this show. If you're a sponsor, this will be spicier than wings at Quinny's. I'll put it that way. Because Janice, Sheila, you guys are gonna stick around a little bit. We're gonna get into some real deep stuff, and then I'm gonna ask you about aliens, as Tucker wanted me to ask. So we're gonna do that in the post show. If you're a subscriber, you know where to go. You go to locals. If you're not a subscriber, on our Rumble page, click join. We have new subscribers every episode. Are you one of them? Please join us. $8 a month, or a lot of people have been doing annual memberships. I guess they get a month off when they do that. So we like either one. But join us. It's going to get spicy in here. We haven't even got to, oh my God, Biden's. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Do you want to hear what she has to say about Biden supposedly resigning or supposedly dropping out of the race? You probably don't believe any. You don't even believe it's Biden.
No.
Okay.
Well, we haven't seen him
It is
since,
going to get spicy in the post show. So if you're not a subscriber, go to our Rumble page, click join, and we'll be starting that in a minute. We couldn't do this without our great sponsors, Yes Solutions LLC, for all your shipping needs. You can give Kyle a call, 651-797-2451. Oh, this guy, Warren Wessel of Keller Williams. You know Warren Wessel.
Oh,
your
yeah.
old work husband.
My old work husband.
Yep. We're all good friends. We go back to the Tea Party days. Give Warren a call at 612-419-7453 if you're buying or selling a home. And if you're financing a home, give the good guys at John Galt Mortgage Company a chance at financing that home. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. And also Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud. Don says, thank goodness it's over. It's not over, Don. I'm gonna get entertained in the spicy after show. That's what we're gonna call it, the new spicy after show. The Hot Ones. Hot Ones is already taken, unfortunately. I did not know this show was gonna go this way. I knew it was gonna be spicy, but when you first said, "Oh, there wasn't even shooting," I was like, "Oh shit!" I thought we were gonna have fun, second guessing the official narrative.
But we're not done picking apart the things that we visibly saw on TV.
There we go.
Such
That's what we're going to get to
Yep.
right now in the post show. For everyone else, Jesse will be back in studio with a history on Kamala Harris. What she did with the mayor, and was that not San Francisco, Brown City or
Willie
whatever?
Brown, was
yeah,
it
yeah,
Willie?
something like
Yeah,
that.
Willie
Yeah,
Brown.
so we're going to get into the story of Kamala Harris's rise. Mega Jesse's got that report and many other things, especially local Minnesota politics. Come back here Thursday. Everyone else in the post show, we'll see you in a minute.